There are two paths in life that we often mistake for each other. One is the path of frantic busyness, chasing everything out there. The other is the path of quiet inner construction, building strength from within. Every distraction you entertain, every scattered thought you allow to linger, steals a piece of the greatness that lies dormant within you. Picture it as a blurred mirror, the dust motes of distraction preventing your true reflection from shining through. But there is an unchanging truth, a subtle law of the universe. When you focus your entire energy on becoming more valuable, sharpening your skills with precision, and building unyielding discipline from the depths of your being, then, and only then, does wealth naturally follow. This wealth isn't merely confined to financial abundance. It is the wealth of respect, of wide-open opportunities that you don't have to pursue, and the wealth of personal power, that authentic authority to shape your own life. If you keep chasing every fleeting light out there, ultimately you gain nothing at all. Like a ship lost in a misty ocean trying to reach every faint lighthouse beacon, yet forgetting to solidify its own hull, its sails, and its rudder. Conversely, if you focus on building yourself, on becoming a steadfast lighthouse standing tall, everything you crave, opportunities, relationships, and financial prosperity will be drawn towards you naturally with an invisible force as powerful as gravity. The world outside doesn't reward noise. It rewards the value you bring. Ask yourself, will you rise to manifest the full potential of your true worth, or will you remain hidden in plain sight within the bustling crowd? The answer to this very moment will define the rest of your life, and over the next hour and a half we will delve into how you can shift your focus, become more valuable, and build wealth starting from the inside out. This journey doesn't begin with your bank account or with external circumstances. It begins right here within, with your authentic self. Your value determines your wealth. Consider this. You aren't paid for the hour itself. You are paid for the value you bring to that hour, like a garden. You don't just spend time weeding or watering. The garden's true value lies in the sweet fruits, vibrant flowers, or peaceful atmosphere it provides. If the value you create is low, your income will reflect it mercilessly. This is not some random act of fate. It is a fundamental law of life. So the real question is not, how do I make more money? The true life-expanding question must be, how do I become more valuable? Because value possesses a subtle energy. It attracts wealth. Like a magnet pulls metal powerfully and irresistibly. You become more valuable by continuously increasing what you know, mastering how you think, and polishing how you show up to the world. Think about it. Every book you read with an open mind, every new skill you bravely develop, every genuine relationship you nurture with dedicated effort. All these things, like precious seeds, are sown into the soil of your value, helping it become richer, more fertile. But there's a nagging problem, a mistake most people make. They stop growing the moment they stop going to school. They treat graduation like a finish line, not realizing it's only the start of true education, the vast university of life. You must make a decision right now to outgrow the person you were yesterday. Accept this challenge as a sacred promise to your future. Train your mind daily as a warrior sharpens his weapon. Study the lives of those who became invaluable in history. George Washington didn't rise to power because he was the loudest or most attention-seeking. He became irreplaceable, indispensable, because he built value that an entire nation could rely upon. A man people trusted to carry the burden of leadership to build a nation. Ask yourself honestly, with the deepest sincerity, can the world count on you? Can your family rely on your wisdom, on your guidance? Can your team, your colleagues, eagerly follow the vision you provide? If the answer is not fully, then your next move is clearer than ever. It's not finding a better job or a higher salary, but throwing yourself into building, into sharpening, to become that person. The person the world can trust, the person whose value shines brightly. Wealth is attracted, not chased. You can run after money your entire life and still end up broke. Why? Because money. Prosperity doesn't respond to desperation or reckless, impulsive actions. It responds to order, to alignment. It naturally comes to you when you operate in sync with a clear purpose, with clarity of thought, and with sharp discipline in action. So you don't need to frantically run after wealth. You need to become the kind of person that wealth runs towards. Think of your mind as a powerful magnetic force. If that mind is cluttered with fear, envy, doubt, and chaos, it will repel prosperity. But if that mind is cleaned, filled with gratitude for what is brimming with deep focus and unwavering integrity, it will attract opportunity towards you effortlessly without the need to struggle or wrestle. The wealthy didn't just earn money, they became wealth from deep within before the physical money appeared. To attract prosperity, start with things that seem small but are foundational. Cleanse your habits, tidy your thoughts, show up earlier than required, be willing to stay a little later when needed, and do the hard work with a glad, willing heart. This isn't demanding perfection. It is demanding precision. You must become excellent in your craft, excellent in your character, and excellent in your commitments. Look at John D. Rockefeller. He didn't inherit an empire. He attracted it by mastering both the oil industry and the art of seizing opportunity. While others gambled with fate and guessed their way, he planned meticulously and persisted relentlessly. True wealth isn't measured by what you have. It is measured by what has you. Are you controlled by greed or guided by a high purpose? Do you worship external status or value core substance from within? These questions will strip away the pretense and reveal whether you are truly building wealth or merely chasing money in vain. Build character before you build fortune. Many people desire wealth, but only a small fraction are willing to become the kind of person who has the inner strength to carry and manage that wealth wisely. This is why money easily slips through so many hands. Money without character is like a disaster waiting to happen. A luxurious skyscraper built on a foundation of sand. Real wealth begins in your spirit. Character means you do the right thing even when it is inconvenient, even when no one is applauding you, and even when you could easily get away with doing the opposite. It means you keep your word sacredly, you handle pressure with grace and composure, and you treat everyone with respect, regardless of who they are or their title. The wealthiest individuals in history weren't just rich in bank accounts. They were rich in core values. Andrew Carnegie built a vast industrial empire but then gave away billions of dollars. He believed that wealth without generosity was poverty in disguise. His character and vision multiplied his influence and legacy. Begin building with the smallest, most mundane actions. Tell the truth, even when it costs you. Return what is not yours, even if no one will ever know. Finish what you promised, even when everything becomes difficult. These seemingly small things will build a kind of wealth, a vault of character, that no market crash can ever erase. So ask yourself once more with utmost sincerity, can your future self trust your current self? Can wealth confidently rest in your hands without fear of being misused or squandered on fleeting pleasures? If the answer is not fully yes, then focus on building that foundation of character first. Then watch how the peaks of prosperity will rise solid and secure like a temple built on unbreakable bedrock. Character is the hidden architecture of lasting success. Discipline is the gatekeeper of wealth. No dream, no matter how grand or humble, can survive without discipline. Discipline is like an invisible but formidable wall standing tall between where you are and where you passionately desire to be. Talent may open the door of opportunity, but only discipline keeps that door wide open. Without it, even the most brilliant minds, the most talented individuals easily slide into the swamp of mediocrity. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you absolutely do not feel like doing it. It is showing up and taking action when you are utterly exhausted, focusing intensely when your mind wants to wander, and pushing yourself through when you feel completely uninspired. Discipline is not just about compulsion. It builds inner resilience. And that resilience, that ability to face adversity, is precisely what builds your true value in the marketplace. Begin by establishing structure in your life. Wake up at the same time daily as a ritual that clarifies your dawn. Stick to a schedule designed to nourish and propel your vision, your goals. Actively avoid the fleeting temptations that drain your precious energy. Build habits, daily rituals crafted to cultivate your future, not consume it. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows stronger through consistent repetition. The great scientist Nikola Tesla lived with a discipline almost monastic in its rigor, often working up to 20 hours a day, fueled only by his fiery vision and unshakable focus. While others partied, he prepared. That is why his legacy still shapes the world you live in today. Ask yourself daily mercilessly, are your daily habits truly in sync, in alignment with your highest aspirations, your grand goals? If the answer is no, then be brave enough to redesign your life until they are. Because your future isn't built on occasional sporadic bursts of effort. It is built solidly on consistent commitment, every day, every hour. Most people misunderstand discipline. They see it as punishment, a restricting chain rather than a door to liberation, to true freedom. Authentic discipline does not narrow your life. On the contrary, it expands the boundless potential within you. It doesn't diminish joy in life. It deepens, enriches the sense of profound satisfaction. An individual who lives with discipline is not someone with less freedom. They are someone who creates infinitely greater impact. Look at any field of human achievement. Behind every magnificent masterpiece, every world-shaking breakthrough, every colossal fortune, lies a silent but incredibly powerful force. The power of disciplined practice. The painter shows up daily at their canvas. The entrepreneur meticulously reviews the numbers while others rest. The writer steadily produces pages whether inspiration strikes or not. Their secret isn't inherent talent or sheer luck. It is the unglamorous commitment to consistent action every single day. Discipline creates the vast chasm between the average and the exceptional. While talent might be distributed relatively equally across populations, discipline is not. This is why individuals with ordinary abilities often outperform their much more brilliant counterparts. They have harnessed the power of the compound effect of daily disciplines. Small actions seemingly insignificant in isolation, but which become incredibly transformative when stacked on top of each other over time. Financial wealth follows the same principles. The wealthy aren't necessarily more intelligent or born with inherent privileges. They are simply more disciplined in managing their resources. They make conscious choices about spending rather than being led by momentary emotions. They invest systematically, regularly, rather than acting sporadically. They willingly delay gratification not out of self-denial, but because they understand the mathematical principle of compound interest in investments. Modern society has weaponized distraction. Every notification, every endless entertainment option, every instant convenience is designed to erode, to wear down your discipline in subtle ways. Resisting these forces isn't merely a personal preference. It is a strategic battle for your future. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you aren't just completing a task. You are building the capacity to create wealth. The most powerful form of discipline is often invisible to others. It is the private victories that precede visible public success. Declining the extra drink, waking up earlier than required, reading a valuable book instead of scrolling endlessly, saving money instead of spending on impulses. These hidden disciplines build an unshakable foundation, a bedrock that supports all the tangible achievements you make. Start cultivating wealth-building discipline today. Begin with the smallest things. 5 minutes of completely focused work. One conscious choice aligned with your goal. One small habit upgraded, then gradually expand it. Discipline does not demand absolute perfection, it rewards consistency. The goal is not flawless performance. The goal is unstoppable progress. Remember that discipline is a servant to your vision, not the other way around. Without a powerful, inspiring purpose, discipline can easily become an empty burden, tedious drudgery. However, with a clear purpose, it transforms into fiery, passionate persistence. Identify what truly matters to you, what resonates deeply within your heart. Then build the discipline specifically designed to serve that vision. Your greatest wealth will not come from what you occasionally pursue with intense bursts of effort, but from what you consistently follow with discipline every day, every hour. This is the gatekeeper's test, and those who pass this test will build fortunes that transcend mere financial meaning. Become irreplaceable in what you do. You were not born to be average. You were born with the potential to master, to excel at something so profoundly well that the world cannot ignore your presence and contribution. The path to true wealth lies in becoming irreplaceable. Not because you do what others can also do, but because you do what others cannot, or are not willing to put in the effort to do. Most people only dabble, touching the surface of many things. Only a small fraction, the exceptional ones, are committed enough to go deep all the way to the core. While the crowd changes, passions, changes focus. Every month, you must dig deeper. You must decide to become the best at solving a specific problem in a specific area. The deeper your mastery, the higher the value of your presence in the market. Start by identifying the single thing you can do better than most people in your current environment. Then dedicate your entire mind, energy, and time to that one thing. Study deeply, practice relentlessly, continuously improve. Repeat the process until you reach an outstanding level of mastery. Excellence is not a random gift bestowed upon you. It is a conscious choice you make in every hour of your work. Isaac Newton did not create gravity. He observed and studied it so deeply that the entire world is still learning from his findings to this day. He made himself irreplaceable by venturing into territories that no mind had ever explored before. So ask yourself honestly, in your current line of work, would anyone truly notice? Would there be a significant impact if you suddenly stopped showing up? If the answer is no, or maybe not significantly, then your path forward is clear. It is not finding another job. It is focusing on building yourself to the point where the answer becomes yes. This person's absence creates an irreplaceable void. The modern economy richly rewards specialization with unmatched abundance, while generalists who know a little about many things struggle for recognition. Top specialists can command premium compensation. They are highly sought after. This is not a coincidence. It is the inevitable outcome of deep focus on a specific area of expertise. When you solve a specific problem better than anyone else, you don't just earn a living, you create significant leverage for yourself. Becoming irreplaceable begins with the decision to become exceptionally outstanding in one domain, rather than being merely adequate in many. This does not mean you ignore complementary skills. It means you build your life, your career around a core competency that becomes your unique signature contribution, a recognizable stamp that cannot be mistaken. Your goal is not to do more things. Your goal is to do one single thing with such extraordinary skill that it creates its own constant demand in the market. Think of the master craftspeople who can command six-figure fees for their work. They aren't just selling a product. They are selling decades of refinement in their judgment, thousands of hours of deliberate practice and solutions that cannot be easily replicated. Their uniqueness creates scarcity, and scarcity is the fundamental source of value. The path to becoming irreplaceable demands intellectual honesty about your current position. Most people tend to overestimate their short-term capabilities while underestimating their long-term potential. They quit when the path to mastery seems distant, switching to another field where they restart as novices. This cycle guarantees perpetual mediocrity. Break it by committing to going deep rather than just shallowly wide. Begin with a harsh, honest self-assessment. What problems do you solve better than most people in your current circle? Where do your natural aptitudes intersect with genuine market needs? Then chart a deliberate, aggressive path towards mastery. Don't just read one good book in your field. Read every significant work that has influenced it. Study not just the rules, but the rare exceptions. Learn not only from dazzling successes, but also from painful failures, from costly mistakes. The irreplaceable professional doesn't just meet existing standards. They create new ones. They redefine what excellence looks like in their domain. They push boundaries further, not for ego, but because that is where breakthrough value is born. When you operate at this level, you no longer have to compete for opportunities. Instead, opportunities compete to get you. Remember that irreplaceability is not just limited to technical mastery. It is also found in the unique footprint of how you interact with people, how you approach and solve problems, how you communicate solutions clearly and inspiringly, and how you build and navigate relationships creates a professional fingerprint as unique as your own DNA. Cultivate this distinctive approach until clients and colleagues can recognize that is their product, their service, their way of solving the problem, even without seeing your name on it. The path to becoming irreplaceable demands sacrifice. You will forego the surface variety of those who know a little about many things for the depth of a true master. You will trade instant gratification for the slow, cultivated buildup of excellence. You will work diligently when others are resting, indulging in entertainment. But these investments will create incredible compound effects over time, building a solid professional moat that protects you from commoditization, from being seen as an easily replaceable product. Start today. Choose your domain of mastery. Then commit to it with the single-minded focus of a monk. Your irreplaceability won't appear overnight, but with consistent, steady investment, it will become your most valuable asset. One that no market downturn, no technological shift, no competitor can dim or steal. Feed your mind with the right fuel. You become what you consume daily. Just as your body cannot thrive on junk food alone, your mind cannot prosper only on noise, superficiality, and negativity. If the input for your mind is weak, your output will undoubtedly be weaker. You must guard what is allowed to enter your mind like a soldier guarding the gates of a city. That means eliminating toxic news, pointless negative conversations, and anything that sows doubt or fear into your spirit. Instead, read books that are rich with wisdom and expand your perspective. Listen to people who have achieved what you passionately desire. Speak words that are calibrated to align with the person you aspire to become. Make a list of daily mental fuel. An inspiring quote every morning. A chapter from a book filled with wisdom. A deep conversation with someone who lifts you up and elevates your thinking. Keep your mind sharp and your emotions clean. Charles Spurgeon, a preacher of immense influence, had read hundreds of books before the age of 20. His mind was nourished by peak wisdom, not by fleeting, shallow trends. That is why his words still ignite souls today. Remember this core truth. What you think becomes how you act, and how you act determines what you earn. Not just money, but the total sum of results in your life. So if you want more from life, start by carefully examining and filtering what you are feeding your mind. The human mind operates as an incredibly complex filtering system, processing thousands of inputs daily and transforming them into beliefs, decisions, and ultimately the results that show up in your life. Yet most people leave this filtering process to chance, passively absorbing whatever information happens to cross their path. This passive approach guarantees ordinary, repeatable outcomes. Wealthy, successful individuals understand that mental consumption needs to be strategic, just like financial investment. They recognize that their attention is their most precious currency, and they allocate it with deliberate, considered intention. They know that every piece of information that enters their consciousness becomes part of their internal operating system, shaping how they think and act. Begin treating your mental diet with the same discipline you would apply to eating healthily for your physical body. Ruthlessly audit the information sources you access. Does the news feed you? Regenerate deep insights, or just increase your anxiety and fear? Do the social media accounts you follow inspire or drain your energy? Do the conversations you participate in elevate your thinking or just keep you trapped in outdated thinking patterns? The highest performers establish information consumption routines that prioritize deep wisdom over trivia and noise. They begin each day with focused, valuable inputs, inspirational reading, strategic thinking about important matters, or engaging in the process of building value, before the outside world can hijack their precious attention. They understand that the first hours of the morning set the trajectory for their entire day. Protect your mind from information that triggers negative, low-vibration emotions, envy, fear, outrage, and victimhood mentality. These emotional states may provide a fleeting false sense of satisfaction, but they create an internal chemistry that clouds judgment, diminishes performance, and steals your inherent power. Replace them with content that cultivates clarity, confidence, creativity, and compassion. Your mental diet should include regular exposure to ideas outside your comfortable, familiar zone. Seek out perspectives that challenge your existing assumptions, but expand your thinking capacity. This is not about consuming opposing viewpoints just to trigger defensiveness, but about encountering transformative thinking frameworks that elevate your understanding to a new level. Remember that input isn't limited to information alone. The environments you choose to inhabit, the deep questions you spend time contemplating, and the challenges you bravely accept, all these things shape your mental landscape. Design experiences that strengthen rather than diminish your cognitive abilities. A disciplined mind doesn't just consume better information. It processes that information exponentially more effectively. Develop practices that deepen your relationship with valuable content, journaling, new insights, trying to teach learned concepts to others, or immediately applying ideas to your work and life. This metabolic process transforms information from temporary knowledge into lasting wisdom. Begin today by eliminating one toxic information source from your mental life and replacing it with one source of genuine wisdom. You will notice your mind reflect this upgrade immediately, and your life will gradually follow, because your thoughts become your actions. Your actions become your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. Take full ownership of your life. The moment you blame is the moment you relinquish your inner power. Excuses may offer temporary false comfort, but they rob you of your strength to act. If you desire to build wealth, not just financially, but in the entirety of your life, you must take complete responsibility for everything in your life. Yes, even the most difficult, the worst parts. Ownership is not about accepting fault. It is about control. If there is someone else to blame for your circumstances, then someone else holds the key to your fate. But if everything, your actions, your reactions, your effort is in your hands, you can shape it, mold it to your will, to your purpose. Start with the smallest things. Your attitude when facing a challenge, your daily habits, how you react to events. Don't wait for perfect, ideal conditions to act. Don't depend on some vague luck. Be brave and determined to build your world with your own hands, with your own sharp mind. So ask yourself right now, what are you waiting for? Who are you blaming? Enough. Take ownership of the steering wheel of your life. It is your life. Make it fully count. Ownership begins with a fundamental and profound shift in perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Replace it with the power-unlocking question, what can I do with this circumstance? This pivot from a victim mindset to a creator mindset transforms you from a passenger sitting passively on the ship of life to the steadfast captain. Circumstances may not be your choice, but how you respond to those circumstances is always your choice. Most people live a life that is reactive to their environment. They blame the difficult economy, their upbringing, a bad boss or colleague, or the limitations they themselves impose. This narrative creates a false sense of safety. After all, if external factors determine your fate, then failure isn't your fault. But this false comfort comes at a terrifyingly high price. Your real power. True ownership means completely abandoning the search for someone or something to blame. It means bravely looking in the mirror and declaring, I am responsible for where I am, and I am fully capable of creating where I am going. This stance may initially feel heavier, demanding more effort, but in reality, it brings the strongest liberation. When you own your situation, you simultaneously own the solutions. Consider how this principle applies to building wealth. An ordinary person will blame a low income, bad timing, or a lack of opportunities for their financial situation. A person with an ownership mindset and a desire for wealth will ask, how can I increase my value? How can I serve others more effectively? How can I turn this obstacle into an opening? They don't sit and wait for perfect conditions to appear. They create conditions that align with their goals. Ownership extends beyond your actions and touches even your emotions. Many people believe their feelings are caused by external events. They say, you made me angry, Or, this situation is stressing me out. This perspective surrenders emotional control to circumstances. Take ownership by recognizing that how you interpret events, rather than the events themselves, is what creates your emotional state. Start practicing radical responsibility from the smallest daily matters. When you make a mistake, admit it immediately, without justification or evasion. When a project goes wrong, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Instead of solely focusing on the shortcomings of others. When obstacles appear, focus only on the factors that are within your control. The ownership mindset becomes most powerful during times of adversity. When others use difficult circumstances as a reason to lower their expectations, the individual with an ownership mindset uses them as opportunities to demonstrate resourcefulness and resilience. They understand that limitations and constraints are often a source of inspiration to create extraordinary solutions, something comfort can never provide. Remember that taking ownership does not mean shouldering the blame for things truly outside your control. It means refusing to use those things as excuses for inaction or stagnation. You didn't cause the thunderstorm, but you can choose to carry an umbrella. You didn't create economic instability, but you can adjust your strategy accordingly. Lasting wealth is not built on lucky circumstances. It is built firmly on the foundation of the ownership mindset. This mindset manifests outwardly as reliability that clients and partners trust, as resilience that overcomes market fluctuations, and as resourcefulness that transforms problems into opportunities, challenges into profit. Start today. Identify an area in your life where you have been waiting for someone else to change, or for something external to happen before you act. Now ask yourself, what can I do regardless of those external factors? That question will activate ownership, and ownership will activate everything else. The inner power to move forward. Expand your circle. Elevate your life. Your surrounding environment. The people you spend time with is either a cage that restricts your potential or a powerful catalyst that propels your growth. If you spend time with narrow-minded people, your perspective will naturally shrink. Your vision will narrow. But if you surround yourself with people who have grand visions, decisive actions, and bold dreams, you will naturally be inspired. You will expand. You will develop into the kind of person that resembles those you spend the most time with. Seriously audit your social circle. Who challenges you to rise higher? Who inspires the hidden greatness within you to manifest? And who keeps you stuck in excuses, in logical reasons for stagnation? You must be absolutely ruthless in choosing your circle of influence. Start by seeking mentors. Humbly learn from those ahead of you, those who have achieved the successes you desire. Build friendships and relationships based on shared progress, rather than based solely on comfort that leads to staying put. Collaborate with people who make you better, rather than simply making you bitter or feeling drained. Look at the industrialist James Watt. His innovations sparked the Industrial Revolution. But that only happened after many years of diligent work and exchange of ideas with other great minds of his time. Iron sharpens iron. Similarly talented individuals will sharpen each other's intellect and resilience when they interact and work together. So today, elevate your company. If you are the smartest person in the room, it is time to change rooms. Surround yourself with people who force you to raise your own standards, who compel you to constantly learn and grow. Wealth naturally flows to where wisdom is gathered and exchanged. The human mind is powerfully drawn to its surroundings. You absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those you spend the most time with, often unconsciously. This invisible influence shapes your ambitions, sets the limits of your expectations, and ultimately determines the outcomes you achieve in life. Your social circle doesn't just reflect who you currently are, it predicts who you will become. Most people choose their associations based on convenience, comfort, or sheer chance. They surround themselves with whoever happens to be geographically close or emotionally familiar. But extraordinary achievement requires extraordinary input. You must deliberately engineer your surrounding environment to elevate you rather than limit your potential. Begin with a candid assessment of your current social circle. Do they celebrate your growth or subtly undermine it? Do they focus on problems or seek solutions? Do they invest in their own development or remain static? The answers will show you whether your relationships are appreciating assets or depreciating liabilities. Strategic relationship building isn't about manipulating others or abandoning loyal friends. It is about expanding your circle to include those who pull you forward, who propel you to grow. Maintain your core foundational relationships while actively cultivating connections with people operating at higher levels of achievement, creativity, and impact. Seek the company of individuals who have already manifested what you aspire to create. Their presence normalizes excellence, helping you see that the extraordinary is possible. Their standards will gradually become your standards. Their habits can inspire your habits. Their expansive thinking will stretch and broaden the boundaries of your own mind. The wealth-building power of strategic relationships extends beyond inspiration. Your network becomes your very own opportunity ecosystem. Valuable ideas flow naturally. Doors of opportunity open wide, and necessary resources surprisingly appear through the connections you diligently cultivate. The most valuable opportunities rarely come through formal, ordinary channels. They emerge through relationship networks operating at the leading edge of innovation, pioneering in their industries and ideas. Diversify your circle across different domains of excellence. Connect with masters of craft, visionary business leaders, thought leaders, and individuals with exceptionally strong character. This diversity of perspective prevents blind spots and generates breakthrough creative combinations that create unique value. Remember that to be elevated, you also need to contribute. Don't just seek to extract value, create value for others. Become the kind of person others crave to have in their circle. Cultivate qualities that elevate those around you. Be a sincere listener, genuinely encouraging, share valuable insights. Be utterly reliable and steadfastly demonstrate integrity. The path to wealth and influence runs directly through the quality of the relationships you cultivate. Choose wisely, cultivate intentionally, and watch how your external circle will elevate your internal standards. Your life expands not by accident, but by association with those who refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Master the power of focus. In a world overflowing with countless distractions, focus stands out as the ultimate competitive advantage. The ability to direct your complete attention towards a single meaningful pursuit is not merely valuable. It possesses the power to transform your entire life. While most people drift between myriad scattered efforts, those who cultivate and master the power of focus consistently outperform the distracted majority. Focus is not just the ability to maintain attention for a long time. It is the intentional dedication to what truly matters to you. When you commit your mental energy to a single meaningful objective with unwavering determination, incredible shifts begin to occur. Your productivity multiplies exponentially. Your expertise deepens profoundly. Your impact intensifies powerfully. As the world's noise fades away, inner clarity shines brilliantly. Cultivating focus requires deliberately and non-negotiably setting boundaries. This means ruthlessly eliminating digital interruptions by silencing notifications and creating sacred periods of deep work. Blocks of time that are uninterrupted and dedicated only to your most important work. It means learning to decline offers, commitments that dilute your effectiveness, that scatter your energy. Most importantly, it means embracing the power of sequential mastery, tackling a single meaningful goal until it is completely finished before moving on to the next one. The misconception of multitasking has cost countless hours of truly productive work. Studies consistently show that the human brain performs optimally when fully engaged in a single complex task. Each context switch creates cognitive drag. The brain needs time to reorient itself and reach high concentration again. Imagine taking the energy currently scattered across dozens of unfinished commitments and directing it towards your most important objective. What could you achieve with just 1 year of such focused effort? What innovations could you create? What skills could you master extraordinarily well? What significant problems could you solve for the world? By embracing the power of focus, you don't just improve productivity, you reclaim your autonomy. your control. Instead of constantly reacting to external demands, you consciously direct your finite time and energy towards what is truly important, profoundly meaningful to your life. This clear intentionality permeates every aspect of your life, bringing clarity where there was previously only confusion and chaos. The choice is simple, yet profoundly decisive. Continue drifting with the distracted majority, or join the focused few who transform potential into brilliant reality. Your capacity for focus may well be the defining factor in whether your greatest ambitions remain dreams or become tangible, glorious achievements. Learn to speak the language of value. How you communicate directly influences how others perceive your worth. Your words are not just simple sounds. They are powerful signals that broadcast your value to everyone you encounter in every situation you are in. When your language lacks precision, lacks conviction, it undermines it, destroys your impact. Conversely, when you express yourself with clarity, with confidence, and with a clear vision, others instinctively recognize your value and respond accordingly. The most influential leaders throughout history mastered this critical skill. They communicated in ways that commanded respect and inspired action. They understood that the communication of a true leader isn't about linguistic complexity, but about conveying unshakable conviction in their purpose, their vision. Their ability to articulate goals, clearly explain complex ideas simply, and express their mission with compelling clarity, transformed ordinary followers into absolute believers. Begin by consciously upgrading your language software. Eliminate hedging indecisive phrases like, I think, maybe, it seems, words that send a signal of uncertainty. Replace them with declarations that project confidence and decisiveness. I believe that, I will, I know for certain that. Notice how these small adjustments dramatically change the energy of your communication. Practice speaking about your aspirations, your goals, as though they are currently unfolding rather than distant, vague possibilities. This transformation in language requires deliberate practice. Start with your daily conversations. Pay attention to the moments when your language diminishes your impact. Are you apologizing unnecessarily? Are you putting too many qualifiers around your statements? Are you undermining your authority with phrases like just checking in or this might be a stupid question? Each instance represents an opportunity to recalibrate your language to align with your true value. Study the remarkable communication style of Theodore Roosevelt. His words didn't just convey information. They possessed a power to catalyze transformation. When he spoke, people didn't just listen, they rose up to act. His famous Man in the Arena speech continues to inspire over a century later because he mastered the language of value, speaking with such iron conviction that his voice still echoes through generations. The language of value extends beyond word choice and touches upon how you deliver your message. Speak at a measured pace that allows your ideas room to breathe for the listener to absorb them. Eliminate nervous filler words like like that dilute your message. Maintain eye contact, which signals confidence without aggression. Use strategic pauses to add weight to your most important points. Remember that speaking the language of value is not about manipulation or exaggeration. It is about aligning your communication to your genuine worth and removing linguistic habits that obscure or lessen that value. The goal is not to impress others with flowery vocabulary. The goal is to express your authentic value with clarity and strong conviction. Your words reveal your thought patterns, reflecting how you perceive yourself and your worldview. As you refine your language, you will notice your thoughts shifting in parallel. When you consistently speak as someone of value, you increasingly think and act as someone of value. This positive feedback loop doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. Practice this skill daily. Record your important conversations and listen back to critically evaluate them. Join public speaking groups where you can receive constructive feedback. Study the communication patterns of leaders you admire with persistent effort. The language of value will become your natural dialect, and your worth will be unmistakable to everyone you meet. Solve bigger problems. The scale of your success is directly proportional to the scale of the problems you bravely choose to solve. This fundamental principle operates in every industry and field. Those who tackle significant challenges, systemic issues, are compensated accordingly. The marketplace consistently shows that income prosperity follows contribution. The bigger the problem you solve, the more powerfully your value grows. Most people instinctively avoid difficulty. They shy away from complexity, postpone making decisions, and retreat when they face resistance. This avoidance paradoxically creates an extraordinary opportunity for those willing to move in the opposite direction. By deliberately seeking out significant problems, especially those that others refuse to address, you position yourself as an invaluable, indispensable resource. The most respected professionals in any field share this defining characteristic. They run towards complexity instead of running away from it. They do not complain about obstacles. They strategize solutions. They don't merely point out existing issues. They implement specific improvements, creating tangible change. This problem-solving mindset transforms them from easily replaceable workers into indispensable assets. Developing this mindset begins by transforming your internal dialogue. When challenges arise, resist the victim mentality that asks, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, adopt the mindset of a visionary, asking, "How can I leverage this situation to create value for others?" This subtle shift redirects your energy from self-pity towards innovative, creative solutions. Consider the revolutionary impact of Florence Nightingale facing the horrific conditions in military field hospitals during the Crimean War. She didn't just treat individual patients. She systematically reformed the entire healthcare delivery system. By addressing sanitation organization and data collection scientifically, Nightingale solved multidimensional complex problems that had previously cost countless soldiers' lives. Her willingness to confront these seemingly overwhelming challenges established her as a figure whose influence transformed medical history. This pattern repeats across every industry. Tech entrepreneurs who solve meaningful user problems build billion-dollar companies. Scientists who address critical research gaps make breakthrough discoveries. Leaders who resolve organizational dysfunction build thriving cultures. The principle remains consistent. Those who solve bigger problems receive commensurately larger rewards. Start by identifying the problems hidden in plain sight within your current environment. What do colleagues frequently complain about? What inefficiencies are draining productivity? What customer needs remain unmet in a satisfactory way? These pain points represent potential opportunities for you to demonstrate your exceptional value. Approach each challenge methodically. Define the problem as precisely as possible. Research existing solutions. Identify the core obstacles. Develop innovative approaches. Implement improvements systematically. Rigorously document your results. This structured problem-solving process builds your reputation as someone who delivers real results, not just offers excuses.